news and rumors that don't get reported. Stories I write that are often distorted. Got my notebook and pen, and I'm ready to listen. Tell me the truth, I'll consider your position. I've seen killers with eyes so cold and dead, and others go to prison because of what someone said, rotting away for the rest of their lives, leaving a hole here on the outside. Things are sad here on earth, and it's no wonder why, when you consider the sociopaths who remain in charge. It's me who sees the system for all its flaws, and I usually start with the probable cause. My right hand is reading the probable cause. Welcome to The Probable Cause, a podcast covering the criminal justice system here in Allen County, northeastern Indiana, and we'll throw in the whole state. I'm Jamie Duffy, your host and a locally based journalist. To my left over there is Michael McAlexander. He is our co-host and the Allen County Prosecutor. Makes for some interesting podcasts sometimes. Also appearing by phone is my right hand. Always good to have her perspective. Sadly, we passed the 9th angelversary for her son, who was killed 9 years ago this month at the East State Bar. Now, as you can see, we have a special guest today. She is Kim Churchward, the Executive Director of the Allen County Community Corrections. She oversees a lot of employees and a lot of what she calls clients. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yes, and that's a very nice way to say it. But first, before we get into what Kim and the community corrections do, let's talk about the courts. Mike, what's going on this week?
We really don't have any trials going this week. This was the statewide prosecutors conference down in Indianapolis that started on Sunday, ended Wednesday. So that limited our ability to do any trials this week. We did have a couple of sentencings this week that we got 111 years on one person and 87 years on a murder suspect or somebody who was convicted.
You did indeed. Now, one of the major things I want to ask you about that prosecutors conference, did you all come to the realization, you know what I'm going to ask you, that marijuana needs to be legalized?
No, we did not.
I knew it.
As a matter of fact, I think there's a movement now as they're doing more studies with the stronger versions of marijuana that it is potentially causing greater mental illness. The myth of kind of, oh, I'll just have a joint at night to relax me. The stuff that's out there is actually more dangerous than they think. Now, the public perception hasn't caught up with that yet.
Right.
And I don't know where the legislature will go. Most years there's been some kind of bill to legalize marijuana or decriminalize. But I think the scientific evidence is starting to move the opposite way, that it would cause more harm than good. But who knows?
I thought they were talking about Delta 8, which is derived from the hemp plant, but is not marijuana.
Well, nobody regulates it. So nobody knows what's in it. Yep.
You can buy it at the gas
Well, see, that's the thing is you go up, exactly. You go up to Michigan, you know what you're getting. You go to Ohio, you know what you're getting. You're not getting marijuana that was grown in some home that was sprayed with these horrible banned pesticides. That's what really bothers me.
Well, this is where when the legislature changed and essentially made THC products legal if it was less than 0.03%, but nobody tests it. So nobody regulates it.
It's not an oversight entity.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is where we could use you then, Miss Kim. You brought up the sentencing of Brandon Jones, who's 44. He was convicted of child molesting. I did get that probable cause, and it occurred in 2012, which means he had a felony A. And the maximum you can get is 50 years on a felony A. For a felony 1, it's 20 to 40. So Judge Francis Gull did give him the maximum on 2 counts. I was just a little bit surprised because there's one, I've got the probable cause here right now, not the probable cause, but his rap sheet on one guy who I thought was, after I read the probable cause on Mr. Jones, was far more heinous. And Judge Surbeck only gave him 16 years, 7 suspended. He's already out. He was part of a recruitment of teenagers from one of these big churches in town, marijuana, porn, booze, and he raped a 15-year-old boy. And he only got, he didn't even serve those 7 years. So I just like, when I read that, I'm like, 111 years? Okay. I was just really shocked, and Robert Scremen was the attorney, and I'm just wondering if there's going to be, it might even appear in the Indiana Lawyer. I mean, a sentence like that. I don't know if you don't have to agree with me, okay?
Well, I don't, but you also have to remember, under the old code, the sentence that you serve is half the time. You get a day-for-day credit.
Okay.
So 111 years would be 55 and a half years of actual time, as opposed to under the new code in the last decade, a sentence like that would be 3/4 of that time.
Yeah, now I'm glad you pointed that out. However, Indiana leads the nation in life sentences, which is 50 years or more. I know that's the Prison Policy Initiative. It's not your favorite nonprofit. Okay.
I don't always trust their stats.
Oh, no. All right. Well, and we did have a podcast on that. So my right hand, we didn't get a hold of her yet, but she wanted me to talk about the violence that happened right after Thanksgiving. We give thanks, and we had 4 very violent occurrences day after Thanksgiving at Pierre's. We had somebody who was stabbed. He died. Another one who was stabbed. There has been an arrest in that. Then 2 days later, on Tuesday evening, at Sunoco gas station downtown, some guy shot another one after they kind of like brushed shoulders. And then he immediately apologized to the victim's family. However, it was a fatal shooting. Then we had wait a minute, I'm missing the one that happened on Sunday, which was at the Travelers Inn, where this duo thought they were hiding themselves. Remember, they had the hood on their coats, and they kept it really tight, but there were cameras everywhere, and I wrote about that one. I mean, literally tracked them everywhere, and they got caught. He didn't die, but I think he's severely wounded. And then, of course, Thursday, exactly a week after Thanksgiving, what do we have but a really bizarre shooting at Thunderbolt No. 1 on Lafayette Street. Fortunately, nobody died, but one of the shooters actually got shot. So he's been arrested, but the guy who shot him has not been arrested. So that's why I'm just making a prediction that we'll have another arrest in that.
Hopefully.
Okay, hopefully. There you go. That's all you're going to get from Mike, all right?
Well, as I've said numerous times, can't talk about pending cases.
That's right, and I respect that. So now let's get to Kim Churchward. I want to say this at the outset. I've watched you over the years at the Allen County Community Corrections Advisory Board meetings. Now, at first, I realized, and I could feel, that not everybody was really pleased that I showed up. Okay?
Hard to believe.
But you were always charming and very nice to me, no matter what anybody else, however they reacted. And I want to thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome, Jamie.
I think they've gotten used to me now, and I look forward to those meetings. I learn a lot. I don't know why other journalists don't attend. I have reams of tape for the Allen County Community Corrections Advisory Board, which to me sounds like it could be turned into a song for a Broadway musical, really. With that, can't you just see them high step into the Allen County Community Correct? It would just be hilarious. And also, I wanted to ask you now, do you want to make your announcement now or at the end?
I'm happy to make it now.
Okay.
Absolutely,
Well,
sure.
go ahead then. Tell us what's on the horizon.
The announcement I believe that you're referring to, Jamie, is that I've made the decision to retire.
Right.
As of May 1st of 2026. So not an easy decision for me or my family, but one that certainly I gave a lot of thought to, and it's just the right time, I think, for me, my husband, my family.
And we should
make a
say
change.
who her husband is, because a lot of you in the legal system here in Allen County do know who Anthony Churchward is. You've seen him in court a lot. I certainly have. He's a defense attorney.
My favorite person.
Your favorite person. I love to hear
I thought I was your favorite
You're
person.
my second.
Oh, all right.
Oh, wait, no, the kids are going to get in there, so yeah.
Yeah, wait a minute. Let's be very careful here, because you don't want to be held accountable on that one. You did say in your letter to the Community Corrections Advisory Board that it had been a calling a community and a source of purpose that has shaped who you are and has quite literally consumed your entire adult life.
That's true. That is absolutely true, Jamie. I have never worked a Monday through Friday at 9 to 5, 8 to 4:30 job. All of my jobs working in the criminal justice system have been 24/7 operations. I've always been on the pager. I had, I don't know, Mike and I had, I think, the first bag phones and the giant pagers that you would put on your belt back in the day. But I've always worked in that type of environment and field, and it has to be a calling to give that kind of commitment. It has to be. It has to be something that you believe in deeply. It has to be something that you believe you're making or have the ability to make an impact on the community, or you wouldn't do it.
Right. You said this job requires strength, patience, and a belief in the possibility of change.
Absolutely.
What kind of change are you talking about there?
Well, you talk about, and I think I mentioned in the letter, Jamie, that change comes from our colleagues, those that we work with, seeing the evolution, if you will, of the criminal justice system, employees, seeing them grow into leaders themselves, the individuals that we serve in the criminal justice system, seeing them choose different paths, take advantage of opportunities. You read research that tells us that certain interventions or certain processes have the best chance of being successful. You deploy those then, and you begin to see, and it always doesn't happen right away, but you begin then to see individuals taking advantage and making changes, even small changes.
You're talking about your clients.
Absolutely.
Because I think it's a difficult clientele.
Oh, it is, and I've worked with community corrections since 2014. I think I worked for Superior Court for 11 or 12 years before that, and had the opportunity to work with the drug court program and pretrial services, the court alcohol and drug program, and those environments as well. We're serving a population of individuals that have been found appropriate to be served in the community. I'm someone, Jamie, who believes that individuals that frighten us, that are not amenable to rehabilitation, those are the individuals that are a threat to society, and that is when incarceration is important from a community safety and protection standpoint. But there's also a very large population of individuals that enter the criminal justice system for reasons, some within their control and some without. But once they enter the system, then I believe we all have an obligation to identify their needs and try to meet their needs for that period of time.
I mean, so many of them have a traumatic childhood. That's just my feeling.
Sure.
What do you feel about that?
Sure, absolutely. The needs are varied that we see with individuals. Certainly mental health, substance abuse play a large part. But family dynamics, to your point, trauma, abuse themselves, those are things, a lack of a supportive community around them. And I use the term community very loosely, of course, with their family unit, their neighborhood, their unique community. And those relationships and support systems often being challenged as well.
Challenged is a good word. I know some of those people, okay? So anyway, I wanted to go to the second letter. There was a meeting last Thursday that I attended, and under her leadership, there was a residential site visit at the Residential Services Facility, which opened up, about 5 years ago?
August of 2020.
2020. Okay, so a little bit more than 5 years ago. And how many people are allowed to live there?
We have 230 beds, 191 male and 39 female.
And are you full right now?
I didn't check stats before I came over, so I can't speak to today, but I can tell you that we are and have been for the last at least 2 years full and operating on a wait list. We typically have 8 to 10 individuals on a wait list.
So, and with the Residential Services Center, which is out on Cook Road, do you take people from other counties?
Absolutely not. that program was created through our advisory board, and a number of the advisory board members became very intimately involved in the creation of the program, the rules, the policies, processes, and kind of the development, right? And one of the things that was very important to that team and to our board was to reserve those beds for Allen County citizens and those who are consumers of the Allen County criminal justice system. So absolutely, every one of them is with us on an Allen County case, an Allen County cause number. We get calls all the time, all the time, from other counties asking if we would take individuals from their courts or their counties to supervise their.
Because they just don't.
They don't have that type of option.
Right. I mean, it does take some money from the county to run it. So it's not like, he's over there laughing. Do you get DOC people in there? I'm sorry, Department of Correction.
We don't. That is another opportunity that we've all considered, again, at the board level, to take DOC work release individuals. That's something that was discussed during the creation phase, that if we found that there were beds available, that may be something that our courts or our board may want to pursue, but we've not had really an opportunity to pursue that any further. But that's a contractual relationship that you would enter into with the Department of Corrections to take work release people for them specifically. We do, when you say bring people from DOC, community corrections here in Allen County, we have the Community Transition Program. And we have the reentry court. We also serve our local judges who may be inclined, or the prosecutor who may be inclined to do a modification from the DOC. Those are individuals that we routinely will receive from DOC. They may be coming out 90 to 180 days early to participate in the community transition or reentry court program. Or again, they may be coming out of the department on a modification. And in those instances, the prosecutor, the judges may craft an individualized plan for them. And it really is a great tool to have for Allen County, that you can craft an opportunity to bring someone from the most restrictive environment to what I would dare to say is probably the next level of restrictive environment, with a residential placement while also being on GPS monitoring in the community.
So they are allowed to come to the center?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right.
We do those as technically a change in placement, and it would typically be in the last couple of years of a sentence. And sometimes we structure that in the plea agreement, that they'll go to DOC for a number of years, and then the last 2 years, they do it in community corrections, residential, or on home detention.
Right, or a combination.
Combination.
And we have such forward-thinking judiciary and prosecutor here in Allen County. We really do. And you begin to see, and we've seen over the last 10, 15 years particularly, this really evidence-based approach with crafting individualized plans for individuals that may need to go to the DOC. That's an important part of the whatever the repercussion is for what the crime that they committed, but also then accepting that they're coming back to our community, and what resources can we provide to them, both in prior to and then on the other side of that sentence. And you don't see that in every community, but we see that here in Allen County. And again, in all my years, I've had the great pleasure of watching individuals like Mike, candidly, and our criminal court judges like Judge Gull, Judge Zent, and Judge Godfrey certainly is moving in that direction, and as he's got the relatively new tenure on the bench. But I have a front row seat to watching.
I think there is some pressure too to get the. I mean, well, first of all, the Indiana prisons are now overcrowded again. They have 4,000 more inmates than they did 4 years ago. So remember,
I still don't know that they are above the capacity they had before 1006 a decade ago.
Yeah.
Well, we need to find that out. But anyway, I'm sure that if they can send them to some place where they know they're going to get some structure and, some.
Well, this is a step down kind of thing because I think, as the sheriff put it in a couple of meetings, when that person walks out of my jail, and it's the same thing for DOC, where are they going to sleep tonight? Mm-hmm. And when we know that these people are going to get out eventually, if they're on a 4-year sentence, 6-year sentence, they're not gone forever. They will be back in the community. And if we can supervise them to get them transitioned in, that when they're off of supervision, they're working, they've got a home or a place to go.
In treatment,
In treatment, yeah.
connected to community resources. I'm somebody, Jamie, who I do believe that it's possible. It's possible to have high accountability levels of supervision, high accountability, very strict levels of supervision, and then pair that with rehabilitative opportunity, and not just general rehabilitative opportunity, but targeted, on point for that individual opportunities for rehabilitation. Those two things, community safety and accountability, can be administered hand in hand.
I really get the idea that she should write a book on this.
I don't know about that.
Well,
but
our goal is
seen it.
is for them not to come back in the system.
Right.
And they have to have certain tools to be able to stay out of the system. A lot of the people, whether it's mental health or substance abuse or just irresponsibility, they run afoul of drugs and guns and stupid stuff. A lot of them are not dangers to the general public.
No,
they're a bigger danger to themselves.
Yes.
And if we can give them the tools so they don't come back, that ultimately, in the long run, saves money for the taxpayers.
Yeah.
And produces a better citizen.
Absolutely.
And we know that young people make impulsive, stupid decisions, irresponsible decisions. So again, if we can work them through that, it's better for the system at all. Now, that doesn't excuse violent behavior.
Not at all.
And we've got some really mean people that just need to be locked up. And the trick for what we do is finding that balance.
Identifying the people, right?
Yeah.
I mean, gosh, right? If you
The
had a
risk factor.
It
I've heard you
is.
say that.
It is, and if
The
you only,
risk factor.
if you had a magic 8 ball, right?
I've got one up there.
I do too, actually.
Oh, all right. We'll have to bring that over. It's a prop. You know what I did want to talk to you about, Kim? I know a lot of these people who have been on community corrections. And one of the things I hear over and over again is the cost of community corrections. If we could talk about that, cost of urine tests, classes, fees to live at the Residential Services Center, and then, of course, the ankle monitor. I don't know if you have those off the top of your head.
I do, sure.
For instance, what does it cost? I mean, you think, oh, good, I could stay at my house and I can be on an ankle monitor. But what are the fees per week for being on an ankle monitor?
Sure. I'll challenge you, Jamie, to look at this a couple of different ways.
Okay, I'm with that.
I'm responsible for my life. I'm responsible for my bills. I'm responsible for all of the things that I need for me, my family, and anyone that I care about, right? And I work long hours, and I make money to be able then to meet my obligations and responsibilities.
Right.
And I don't expect anything of the individuals that we supervise that I don't hold myself personally accountable for as well. And does it cost money? Absolutely it does. And there certainly is all kinds of conversation and research about, should it be free, should it be cheaper, should it be more expensive, right? And the general thought is that I have more of an investment in something that I have to invest in. And that is a part of the rehabilitative thought process. Do we remove barriers financially when we can? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, you made the comment earlier that all of this costs money. And it does. The residential program is about easily a $9 million a year program because it's 24/7. We have rehabilitation embedded there. So it is an expensive a program to operate. So yes, there are daily supervision fees. They are reasonable. They are certainly reasonable as we compare them around the state. They're assessed every year for that reasonableness standard. And that, at least in my view, we try to make them as all-encompassing as possible. So your question is, what does it cost to be on home detention electronic monitoring?
Right.
Assuming that they are on a GPS monitor, that is $15 a day.
Okay.
That includes then all of the rehabilitative interventions that we offer, that we have 7 different curriculums that are provided, and none of that has any additional cost.
I mean, like the classes they have to take?
That's all included.
That's included. Ooh, that's included in the $15 a day.
That is. It is.
I'm trying to mentally think, okay, what's 15 times 7? Can anybody do that?
105.
How much?
$105.
$105. Okay.
Right. And you know, and Mike, you made a point earlier. I don't know if we were on camera or not, but about alternative sentencing and community-based supervision. It's a privilege. Mm-hmm. It's not a right. It's a privilege. It's not for everyone. Mm-hmm. Now, we certainly do everything in Allen County with the stakeholders that we have to make that widely available to a variety of individuals.
How many people do you have on ankle monitor, like, let's just say per month or per year, rather than right now?
Sure. And I'll tell you, because it's an easier we have about 500 people under active supervision on EM home detention
right now
a day. Yeah. I mean, it vacillates.
For some reason, I've heard the number 10,000 on supervision. So
I believe that's used by Eric, and if you count all the people on probation,
right,
parole, community corrections.
So
drug court, that is.
So do those people have the right to put somebody on ankle monitor too, or does it all come through you at community?
All through community corrections.
Okay.
We are the electronic monitoring provider for Allen County, and we serve individuals both pre-trial, post-conviction, on deferred sentences as a condition of a problem-solving court. There are a variety of legal statuses that are available to people in Allen County for that option. And again, that option is made available to keep people from being incarcerated in the jail. And you also made mention about the cost effectiveness of community-based supervision. And I wish I would have grabbed that document before I walked out. But that's also something that we look at every year. And we can demonstrate substantial cost savings for the same individual, whether they're incarcerated in the Allen County Jail, they're incarcerated in an Indiana prison, or they're under electronic monitoring home detention. And I can't speak for other counties, but I certainly can speak for Allen County as it relates to the high accountability system that we have in place. We have an in-house monitoring center with our own dispatchers that we pair with our own law enforcement hand, but that gives us that accountability piece. But again, we're not just focusing on that accountability piece. I believe that you can hold somebody tightly and still offer them all of the rehabilitative opportunities.
How many officers do you have that go around with guns on their hip?
16, 17 special deputies with the Sheriff's Department. And right before I walked out of the office to come over here, I received confirmation that I have 6 of the first in the state of Indiana community corrections officers certified as ILEA certified trainers, the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy.
That is
trainers.
Awesome, because I feel like they would get a lot more training going through that. We train
right alongside. And, Jamie, training is something that I could sit here and talk about for hours, candidly. Our officers receive twice or more the training CEUs every year that is required by ILEA. We do a lot of that now in-house, but again, I'm only able to do that because of Sheriff Hershberger and the working relationship that we have with he and his officers and training team. We are moving to a position where we're able to do some joint trainings with them. We've done that earlier this year. We had some really great joint trainings with them. So rest assured that those individuals are highly trained.
But you can't call out the sheriff's deputies. You can't call out the FWPD. So
sure I can.
Okay, so just tell us though why you need your own in-house police force.
Sure, because Mr. McAlexander, if he's going to have faith and his team here and our local law enforcement, if you're going to have faith in our ability to provide that high accountability supervision platform, then we have to be able to manage all of that under our roof. And again, we pair dispatchers and monitors and our law enforcement officers, and they are a huge part of that accountability factor. It's one thing for the judge to order someone to home detention electronic monitoring, and that order literally says you're to stay within the confines of the walls of your home. Well, that's not realistic in life. That individual
Thank you.
That individual has to go to work. That individual has a right, and we encourage seeking treatment, both medical and mental health and substance abuse in the community. And they have life needs.
Right.
Limited, but certainly life needs. And that gives us the ability then to safely move that individual from the confines of that home to a very specific service or need in the community. It's very limited, but it does happen, but it happens as safely as possible.
I would like to say there were a few years ago, and I forget which program it was on, but we had a court case that kind of challenged us on search and seizure issues on people on home detention. But we also had I think it was a recertification team for one of the problem-solving courts. And they were very questioning, if not outright critical, of our unlimited search policy that people sign a waiver when they go on the program. And the point I made to the recertification team was, I've got to trust that people are safe and doing the right things. Yeah. Otherwise, why would I agree to have them out and not
of confinement?
Yeah,
right.
Why aren't they in jail or in a prison cell? And to do that, they have to be held strictly accountable. And the only way to do that is to have trained people that will go in and appropriately exercise discretion.
Absolutely.
And do the search professionally. These are not mall cops. So
No.
any implication that, we just planted security
Now
on their backs.
let's not put down the mall cops.
Well, I'm just saying that these are government employees that have been trained.
Highly trained.
Yes. And we trust them to follow through on this. And they are also going into potentially delicate and dangerous situations where they find things that shouldn't be there.
Right.
And they need to be ready to respond as a police officer.
And they do.
And
they do. And,
I will add.
Absolutely. But consider this as well, Jamie,
Okay.
that these individuals are not just getting the law enforcement training that you're referring to. With us, they're also getting motivational interviewing and effective communication and exorbitant de-escalation tactics.
Excellent.
They're receiving I call it kind of like your tool belt, right? Here's all of the tools that we're going to give you, and you're going to be faced with a zillion situations today. And through their training and experience, they decide which tool to take off their belt to use in that moment. But they're also looked to be mentors and models and pro-social models for the individuals that we're serving. And that is a part of what they do. And again, you got to find the right people that have the ability to change those hats. You have to have the ability, right, to say that I'm in accountability mode versus I'm in motivational interviewing or pro-social modeling. And it's possible if you get the right people and you get the right training and you get the right culture and environment, you can grow that type of community service.
No, I think that's great. I want to read to you, though. I already warned you guys I was going to bring this up. There is a law professor out at UC San Francisco now. That was the University of
California. Okay.
Oh my gosh, it's California. I just shut up right now. Her name is Kate Weisberg, and I had a long conversation with her well over a year ago now on the phone. Of course, I didn't go out to San Francisco. But she wrote something called, when she was actually at the George Washington University Law School, called the carceral home. She said there's some Fourth Amendment concerns here, where your home is your castle. She said people on criminal court supervision are subject to searches of their homes and phones without suspicion. I know a kid, not in Allen County, but in Huntington, where they grabbed his phone and they wouldn't give it back.
Okay.
And not supposed to do that, okay? 24/7 geolocation tracking, ankle monitors equipped with two-way microphones, and warrantless collection of genetic material such as DNA samples and regular drug and alcohol tests. So she said there are 4.5 million people who are on criminal court supervision. So that's what some of the legal back and forth is about. A home holds a special protective legal status when the home is carceral. What is left of the doctrines reflecting that the home is first among equals?
Realize that all your constitutional rights can be waived.
Can be waived.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And all the people on our programs.
Waive those rights.
Yes.
Yeah, and that is like very, I'm trying to think of the word here. When you waive all your constitutional rights, that's a big deal.
That's why it's informed with legal counsel.
But I mean, we do this every day with Miranda. You know, you have the right to remain silent.
Well, what if, okay, here's a great question for you guys. What if they refuse and say, look, I don't mind being under your supervision. I just don't want to give away all my constitutional rights.
Then there's other options for the resolution.
Which is called jail or prison, right?
For the resolution of that case, yes, absolutely. And that is absolutely, and that's how it should be.
You know what I love about Kim? She's always so diplomatic about everything. That's the resolution of the case, you know, rather than saying, you're going to take your lumps, honey. It's the resolution of the case. There is a lot of jargon in this, I notice. You know what? I really think we should talk more about Kim right now, because since you are resigning, somebody has to take that position.
Absolutely.
You've been. So let's talk about when you were 19.
Yeah.
What happened then? I mean, where were you born, first of all?
Sure. Actually, I was born in Alabama. I moved from Fort Payne, Alabama, to Fort Wayne, Indiana. My dad worked for Nucor Steel and brought us to Indiana when I was very young. So I grew up in Indiana. I actually graduated college in Alabama, so my college path was a little bit windy. But the time that I was taking classes at IPFW, that was when I connected with the Allen County criminal justice system. Then Prosecutor Steve Sims was a adjunct, I assume, professor at IPFW at that time. His brother-in-law was my dad's friend and corporate lawyer. Mark Chambers, and Mark introduced me to Steve. I also connected with Steve through IPFW. So I had the opportunity to be the first ever intern for the Allen County Prosecutor. That was when the office...
What department were you assigned to?
Well, the prosecutor's office, but at that time, the prosecutor's office was in the courthouse on the second floor in a very, very small space.
Oh, yeah.
And while I was an intern, I just kind of had the opportunity to jump in and learn all kinds of things. And I was a very fortunate person that Steve took an interest in my career and me, and took me under his wing and really allowed me to have some very varied and interesting experiences. And that certainly then created, we talked about the calling, the passion, the want to be involved. But so I was an intern. After that internship, Steve connected me. We were talking a little bit, Jamie, before the camera turned on about, this would have been I'm really aging myself, but the mid-'80s. And at that time, OWI, that was the beginning of the movement nationally and locally with regard to OWI enforcement. And Steve connected me with then Marion County Prosecutor Stephen Goldsmith, who was engaged with, it was called the Governor's Task Force to Reduce Drunk Driving.
And you were like only 19?
I was 19, and and I was a regional rep here, and Steve allowed me to work from the prosecutor's office, so I did that for a long period of time, and that was largely networking. It's how I started developing the relationships that I've enjoyed over the years in the system. Ended up graduating college in Alabama.
Oh, why did you go to Alabama to
Family.
Oh.
Actually, I chased a boy, Jamie. But
We're not going to talk about that.
we're not going to talk about that.
Well, we're glad we got you
Cut that, yeah.
Doesn't sound like it was worth it.
But I graduated college in '87, and I called Steve and Mike and said, I'm coming back to Indiana. Can I have a job? And they said,
What did you major in?
I have criminal justice with a concentration in corrections.
Interesting. Great
Yeah,
choice.
Absolutely. But came back to the prosecutor's office then. I did a variety of jobs at the prosecutor's office. As I have reflected on retirement, I've got a little maudlin, candidly, thinking about, what mark have I made, or what am I leaving, and things like, and I hope this doesn't sound arrogant, I apologize if it does, but the current probable cause template that's still used in Allen County, I was involved in developing that. It used to be a triplicate form. It's obviously is not anymore, but yeah, carbon triplicate. But that
I love the way our probable causes look.
But that template is something that I was involved in. The PDP agreement that's still in place today.
Sometimes the font is so tiny.
Well, that's
you
not
could
me.
almost go blind reading it.
Computers kind of did us in on that.
Yeah.
But even when I came up with our logo, wait a minute, what happened to it? Oh, it's up here. I just, I think that's what inspired me to use the type. Here we go. Here's one. I'll try it. Well, this is Brandon Jones, but anyway, tell me what that font is right there. That is like 9, 10. Anyway,
I worked at the prosecutor's office then. I became the chief investigator in '94. And then
you became the what in '94?
Chief investigator for the prosecutor here.
Interesting.
In '94, and I served in that capacity until 2001. And I went over and took a job with Superior Court. At that time, the court's various services were not under any umbrella agency, so I think I was probably hired for at least the initial purpose of taking a look at that. Ultimately, I had the opportunity to work with the criminal court judges, the commissioners, counsel, and we created what is now Criminal Division Services, which is right across the street.
You created that?
Yes.
So, and I mean, I've looked at that building so many times. What exactly goes on there?
Yeah, I'm happy to tell you. We moved into that, I think the division or the agency was created in '04. We then moved into that building after an extensive remodel in '06. So Criminal Division Services, and Jamie, I'll say this, they shouldn't let me name things because clearly I'm not very creative. There's Criminal Division Services, and now there's Residential Services, and there's Pretrial Services, and not that I didn't name Pretrial Services, of course, that was existing. But anyway, that is an umbrella agency for Superior Court's 3 programs. That is the Allen Superior Court Drug Court Program that is overseen by Judge Gold. That is it's called the Alcohol Countermeasures Program. It is a state-certified court alcohol and drug program that, at least here in Allen County, serves predominantly misdemeanor OWIs and any other misdemeanor offense that may be identified as having a drug or alcohol cause or origin, a criminal conversion, something like that. So that program operates...
Wait a minute, there was one more thing.
Pretrial services.
Pretrial services, okay.
Yeah, so the county's pretrial services agency is administered through Criminal Division Services. So, again...
And pretrial services interviews people to be released on their own recognizance.
Pursuant to the bond schedule.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that goes on in that building.
Absolutely.
Do you have like drug and alcohol urine tests over there too? So that goes on there.
Yes.
That goes on at the Day Reporting Center.
And at probation.
And at probation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Abstinence is an important part of the criminal justice system for safety reasons. Safety for everyone involved. So worked for Criminal Division Services, then I served there as the executive director after that was created until the spring of 2014 when I went over to Community Corrections.
Wow. So did you create Community Corrections?
Absolutely not. No. Community Corrections has been in existence in Allen County since 1985. It was created by a woman named Sheila Hudson. I don't know if you are familiar with Miss Hudson, but she was truly a groundbreaker.
A visionary.
A visionary and a groundbreaker. Somebody that was tenacious and skilled in kind of the creative thought process of what could be. And that agency started as a couple of people that were sharing space in the probation department to what it is today, which is 150-ish employees, 2 facilities, and a $14 million budget.
All right.
So Sheila retired, a well-earned retirement in 2013. So there's only been 2 directors of community corrections here in Allen County, Sheila and then myself in 2014.
So who came up with the idea for the Residential Services Center?
Well, I don't know who came up with the idea per se, but those conversations started in 2019 and started at the board level with our advisory board, started, I think, with the Board of Commissioners, the sheriff, budget challenges, statutory changes, all of that.
Well, there's also a building issue that
Yes.
the sheriff's work release program was out on the Irene Byron property at Carroll Road in Lima. And the buildings there were literally falling apart.
Right.
And so they needed to do something. And I believe the commissioners kind of decided that this should be
Ultimately,
more treatment-based than a typical work release center.
Yeah.
So they gave it to the Community Corrections Advisory
have
Board.
all the counties moved over to a community corrections model rather than the work release? I know there's 2 titles there. I remember that Sheriff Gladio was not happy when it happened.
Sure. I really admire and respect him, and he and I remained great professional friends friends through that process.
You did.
And change sometimes can be difficult. But I look back 5 years now, and I was in a conversation with the Board of Commissioners recently about look what is created now, right? You referenced the most recent site assessment without finding or recommendation.
Yeah, I'm going to bring that up. Actually.
We're serving at capacity. We have clinicians, we have recovery specialists, we have all 7 of our curriculums embedded in that facility. We're piloting right now a virtual academy program, a virtual cognitive behavioral academy program in the facility to help the individuals that are there. So really forward-thinking and exciting stuff. To answer your question, there's 27 now in the state of Indiana community corrections run residential programs. I'm aware of a couple of others that are in the planning stages. And you're absolutely right, Mike. Community corrections-based residential and sheriff work release, they're different statutes. They have different points of entry. And they are intended to provide very different services. And that's something
Well, I think
that
the work release program says, all right, these guys are in here. We know what they did. They need to work while they're here because they do have to take classes. And then once they finish it, boom, they're out. There's no violations or anything like that. Did I get that right?
about a work release.
Well, I mean,
Sheriff's work release.
Sheriff's work release. Certainly there were violations, and those violations were managed by returning that individual to the jail because they were simply released from the jail to participate in that program at the sheriff's discretion, as it should be. And violations were handled by reincarceration. They weren't handled through the court system. One might argue, we were talking earlier about rights, right? About due process and rights. And all of that is handled at the sole discretion of the sheriff. And those individuals are simply moved in and out of the work release from the jail. And that's how it was designed, which, again, you get into a much broader approach, I suppose, if you start incorporating that level of supervision into a community corrections model.
I mean, you frequently talk about solitary confinement. The sheriff has to make all sorts of decisions about the level of placement within his facility. Whether you should be in solitary confinement. When he had the work release, it was another option if people had shown they were responsible enough to have a lot more freedom and have to report back each night to where they sleep.
Right.
And
Excuse me.
it depends on what level of supervision you want and the level of treatment. The sheriff, the work release center was never really a treatment facility.
Right.
Right. You took classes, from what I understand, because I used to talk to the sheriff about this. But, you know, it was one of those where you in and out and it was over. That's the way he described it to me. I'm wondering, with you, the people you have out there at the Residential Services Center, Kim, do they mostly have jobs?
The last stat, yeah, absolutely. We run typically 80% employment. I think the last one I saw was 78 or 79% last month. But absolutely, employment's a requirement unless you're disabled.
Okay.
Unless we decide in that moment that your rehabilitation is more critical than employment. But employment absolutely is a part of that, right?
And where do you have companies that are kind of coming to you and saying, we know these people have passed certain hurdles, and so we really could use some more people on the line? Or
we receive calls all the time. And
awesome.
Certainly we have employers that we work very closely with. And as you point out, Jamie, that is something that they know that we're doing urine drug screens. They know that we're monitoring the individual. They know that we're providing them with employment readiness skills and employment training skills through a variety of service providers. So we have the ability to work very cooperatively with employers to have high accountability for that individual and work with the employer to ensure that they're getting a solid and appropriate day's work.
When I see in my case, which is where all our court documents are, that there's been an escape from wherever, how big a problem is that out at the Residential Services Center that people just simply...
Sure. I can tell you that every time it happens, I feel it in my stomach and my heart. And as silly as that sounds, and sometimes it feels to me like, oh, I can't, right? But the reality is that 2% of the population that we serve make the decision to cut and run.
And do they get caught all the time?
Absolutely. And we track.
You can't run from the law.
We track not only those that do. We then watch those cases until they come to resolution, seeing what the punishment or the repercussion is for that action. We certainly look to see if was there a community service concern or a community safety concern. I can tell you that I haven't yet looked at 25 data, but it looks like we're going to have even fewer this year. And I hate to even say it out loud because we have a few more. We have a few more weeks. I think maybe 30 is what the year is going to look like. But we serve about 4,000 people a year. So, but it doesn't mean that it's not
4,000 people
in all the different programs.
Okay, yeah.
But it doesn't mean, and I don't mean to in any way say that it's not serious, it's not important. It's just infrequent, and when it does happen, again, we law enforcement, the prosecutor, we all take that very seriously.
Is it mostly men, or is it men and women?
Mostly men.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But there have been a couple of...
There have been a couple of females, absolutely. But
like I said, you have a difficult clientele.
Yes.
It's like
and Jamie, I appreciate you recognizing that because we don't serve anyone who is their first attempt at community-based supervision, right? Many of the individuals that we're serving have had an opportunity to participate in adult probation supervision, by way of example, and we represent an elevated level of accountability. So, but again, that just points right back to the forward thinking and the progressive nature of our system and our judges and our prosecutor, because that they will look at an individual and decide, can they be receptive and responsible, utilizing a higher level of supervision.
So let's talk about your kitchen out there.
Yes. Yeah. There is a kitchen
I know that's
out there.
been an issue for at least a couple of meetings.
Yeah.
And I think the cost did overrun a little bit, but you're hoping to make
It came in under, Jamie.
It came in under. I kind of got this feeling like maybe you were hoping to make, I don't know, some of the cost savings were going to come back to you because you are, how much of your own, because I do, you had FWCS, God bless them, Fort Wayne Community Schools, delivering your meal before. Now, I know my kids went through school, not here, and I know how many chicken nuggets can you eat, right? And not delicious. Well, I'm not going to go into that. So, I mean, has the food quality been elevated?
And I'll say this with absolute certainty. Fort Wayne Community Schools was a great partner for us.
Okay.
We worked very closely with them. They bent over backwards to work with us and create meals that were appropriate for the needs of an adult in terms of caloric intake and but variety things, that wasn't.
The lettuce wasn't that wilted, right? There you go.
Now, having the ability to have a commercial kitchen and have a vendor in-house where they're actually cooking meals and serving that basically from the oven, if you will.
That's really fantastic. I'm so glad to hear
fantastic.
that.
It is fantastic. And again, Summit is our new partner, and so far they've been a great partner, and absolutely. We do satisfaction surveys quarterly with everybody that we serve, and since we've opened residential, the biggest complaint, I suppose I should be happy about it, but the biggest complaint that we got was food and quality of food or quantity of food, and we now are getting some different feedback.
Well, food is one way into a person's soul.
It is, and
look at what the French do. I mean, they, the way they shop and everything else, they're the ones. Oh, see, Mike, you just like
This is
not really cute.
we always have to get our friends.
I'll always have to do that. But you should see the meals that the school kids get over there, right?
Right.
And we're feeding our people crap, excuse me. So anyway, I am so glad to hear that. I do want to
fully operational and going really well.
I am so glad to hear that. So I did want to bring this up because, man, we have really been talking. The residential site visit was performed on November 14th, so that's, what are we today? It hasn't even
12.
been a month.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right, visitation team was somebody from Whitley County Community Corrections. I would love to go visit theirs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a peer group. And peer group and DOC. And the guidelines, however, are derived from jail standards in Indiana and the ACA, the American Correctional Association standards.
Okay. Was somebody from DeKalb, somebody from Northeast, which you said at the meeting was Steuben and
LaGrange.
LaGrange, yes, that's what I heard.
I'm right.
St. Joseph, we're a South Bend, and then somebody else from Northeast, and then of course you did have somebody from the Indiana Department of Correction, which really makes me laugh because everything that anybody ever tells me about IDOC is that not only is the food terrible, but the facilities are too. And if I had my choice, I would be at the Residential Services Center, I can assure you. But anyway.
We're buying new mattresses right now.
Yay!
So you can come on out.
All right. But I do know somebody that's working for you, and she's my Zumba instructor. So all I'm asking is if she gives a Zumba class, can I come out and take it?
Yeah.
But I'm going to give you her name. All right. So I just wanted to do what they said because at one of the meetings maybe last summer, and I was very cheekily trying to follow it up, you were rated very high statewide. Okay, whereas you got the highest rating statewide, whereas some of the other community corrections didn't fare so well. All right, so I wrote maybe to this woman right here and asked her if I could get the rankings, you know, and IDOC did the rankings with the University of Cincinnati. She completely blew me off and told me to go to the University of Cincinnati. So what I'm thinking is, good luck getting those rankings, because I want to find out what the bad ones were. Because I'm just wondering if some of them were around here. I know from what I've heard of Huntington, they confiscated that guy's phone. I don't think you're supposed to do that. He was just going there. He wasn't in their community corrections. Yes, he was involved in their program. But some of these little counties, this is one of my big worries, you know, some of these little counties, just like some of these little towns, everybody knows each other. It can get really, really petty. Whereas when you're in Allen County, it's a bigger county. So, you know, it may not be that your intake officer is somebody you went to high school with. You know what I mean?
It's possible. I mean, there's obviously more knowledge in a smaller community.
Yeah, and it can.
But is this information coming from the defendant or his mother?
The defendant.
I just caution, you know, these people are not always known for their truth.
No, and I've brought him up before. He's one of my friendly felons. He is a bit of a hellion, so, you know. But I know they did take his phone, and he said they're absolutely not allowed to. So, but I do want to read what they said. Kim Churchward, executive director, served as the lead contact. Cody Fry. Mm-hmm. Danielle Edenfield, did I say that right? Edenfield, and Brittany Barron were also available to answer questions and assist as needed. The visitation team was given a tour of the facility. The facility was clean and well maintained. The staff were prepared for the visit. The team was impressed with the documentation provided to verify both policy and practice. I know you talk a lot about all that. The documentation included pictures, logs, and agency forms that demonstrated consistency in practice across all operational procedures. Allen County Community Corrections Residential Services met all the guidelines for a freestanding facility. There were no areas of concern. And Allen County should be very proud of this facility and the staff that oversee operations. So congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that.
Yeah, so you
and the county should be proud.
And you're going out with that.
Did you also get at the last meeting that somebody got an award recently?
Okay, so you can remind me.
The statewide association for community corrections had their annual conference a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, that's ICAC.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, keep going.
Well, and they give out awards.
Right.
And the director of the year was given to Kim.
Well, that is, yes. Okay, so I'm sure I have it on here because I record everything that happens at those meetings. In case if you want me to send it to you, I'll be glad. But I do remember that now, and I'm sorry that I didn't have a letter saying that because I'm remiss not to bring it up, and congratulations. That's wonderful.
I appreciate that. It was quite an honor.
Yeah.
And we kept it a secret from her. Her staff kept it a secret.
Yeah.
And we know
It was
how
a surprise.
secrets, you know.
My husband came. I had no idea. They had my husband down there. And so, yeah, it was quite a surprise.
So we've been going on for a little while, but I think we should ask you, okay, so what are you going to be doing now that you're going to be retired as of May 1st, I believe you said?
Yeah, I'm retiring as of May 1st. I don't have any plans right now. I don't, Jamie. And
you must have some hobbies like you like to do.
You know, you sound like my mom. My mom has told me my entire career that there would come a day when I was going to regret not having hobbies. And she might be right, and that might turn out to be the truth, but I work a lot. I do. I work a lot.
So do you like to read, though? I mean, let's say
I did when I could see. I'm kind of blind now, but no, I really, you know, I have two wonderful sons that we spend time with. I have a grand puppy that loves me most. You know, and
what kind of doggy is that?
That would be a micro mini golden doodle.
Oh my God, like this?
10 pounds.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, what's his or her name?
Her name is Maisie.
Maisie.
Yeah, and I'm going to show her this so that she sees that I said her name.
Well, we definitely want a picture of her. We definitely want a picture of Maisie. Now,
I'll
are your
send you
boys
one.
grown and out of the home, or are they?
They are. They are.
Oh, they really are.
Yeah. My oldest son is 31. My youngest, Mike, will turn 27 in a few weeks.
Are
And
they
he
still
got
in
married.
Fort Wayne?
Yep, still in Fort Wayne. The youngest got married last summer. But I mentioned I'm from Alabama, so my core family here is pretty small. But all of my extended family is still in Alabama.
So I kind of hear a little bit of that lilt when you talk. It's just like
When I get around my family, that really does come out.
Oh,
Now, my
boy.
mom has been here for 50 years, and she still very much has that Southern draw.
So she didn't feel the temptation to move back there with family.
No, no. Again, my dad brought us here with his work, and
Well, what town in Alabama?
Fort Payne.
Oh, that's right, Fort Payne.
Fort Payne, Alabama to Fort Wayne, Indiana.
So, I mean, is there a bigger town like Birmingham that we would recognize?
About 100 miles north of Birmingham. Fort Payne is absolutely a very small town.
So, and we always ask people, like, what kind of music they listen to.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely a 90s country person, but I like country music. Tony and I have in the last year or so, though, started listening. We like to sit on the patio in the summer and maybe have something cool to drink.
Okay.
And,
Not a mint julep, huh?
well, on Derby Day, I'll have a mint julep drink.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But we've been listening to some a little different, kind of that Texas swing music.
Texas.
Turnpike Troubadours and Mickey and the Motor Cars.
Oh my gosh, I'll have to look these guys up.
So I very much enjoy music. We always have music on in the house when we're doing anything.
Yeah, I am.
Enjoy listening, going to concerts, live music. I don't think that's a hobby, but
That's kind of.
a hobby.
I mean, I haven't been to a
do
lot.
have a hobby. Wait, I have a hobby.
Let's hear it.
We trail ride. My husband rides a dirt bike, and I have a side-by-side, a Razor side-by-side. And my kids do too, and our friends do, and we go to Michigan and trail ride several times a year.
Didn't you also take up fishing?
I did. I guess I
See, there you go. We're bringing it all out.
Yes, fishing, fly fishing.
Fly fishing.
fly
That's even harder than regular fishing.
I went fly fishing in Montana, and I was successful, and Tony wasn't. So sorry, babe.
So she really likes it.
So what do you catch in Montana? What kind of
Trout.
fish? Trout.
Yeah. So I
And
guess I
did
do
you
have some
eat it
hobbies.
at the
No,
campfire?
you have to. Yeah, no, it's catch and release out
Oh,
there.
okay.
Yeah.
Are you going to
So-
take up golf?
No, that's a lifelong no. I have really great clubs and shoes, and I am just awful. But I'll go drive the cart.
Well, there you go.
Tony's a great golfer.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
Well, you can, you get exercise just going around, and that's what I did with my grandmother. And I'm not a golfer either, so
Yeah.
it is great exercise.
I told Tony I'm going to retire and iron his shirts.
Oh,
That's a joke at our house. The only iron is in a golf bag.
I didn't realize that. Something else you two share. You've been friends for a long time.
We have. He is one of my dearest friends, an absolute mentor.
Well,
Nice.
Kim is, in my view, the most talented manager and administrator and creative person to run any agency in this county.
And it does take creativity because you have to think of different ways of doing things.
Well,
and
a lot
is
of
certain
people
creative process.
A lot of people get into the mindset, we're going to do this the way we've always done it.
Right.
And, I believe, and I think you believe, that you're always challenging yourself to, is there a way to make this better? And how can we do that? And she is one of those rare people that can come up with good ideas, but also has the talent to implement them and to, I think, promote her staff, promote talent, get the best out of them. Her staff is very good. And I've got a lot of confidence that they will do well, whoever succeeds her. Yeah. But she instills that sense of excellence. She looks ahead to solve problems before they become problems. and
Certainly
is very persuasive. I think is very well respected by everyone in the criminal justice system.
Well, there's probably a little bit of Southern charm going on there. That's what I'm sensing, you know. You're sitting in a meeting with her. She's quick to have a chuckle, you know, to say something nice about other people. And like I said, when I first started going to those meetings, what's she doing here? One time I walked in and I was told that I had to turn my phone off. I'm like, wait a minute, this is a public. It wasn't because of you, you know. You have to turn your phone off. And I was, you know, I gave them a little pushback. Hey, you know, I've been doing this for a while. And the next time I walked in, they said, no, that's okay. So anyway, anybody want the last word?
No, just
I don't
thank
know.
you.
I don't know what happened to my right hand today.
That's all right.
I'll just say, as far as, again, with Kim, we're losing somebody that has been extreme value to my office, to CDS, and to Community Corrections. And I actually hope that after you spend the summer doing nothing, that you will figure out some way to contribute back,
Maybe.
because you're just very valuable.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Well, even on a part-time basis, it would be
Yeah.
nice. You don't want to lose.
Well, we're going through, I think I said this before Kim got here, the decisions that are going to be made in the next few years regarding the criminal justice system. With the building of the jail and the completion of the jail, decisions have to be made about where misdemeanor is going, utilization of the courthouse, which is kind of like many things running out of room.
A long time ago that happened.
And these issues need to be addressed. There's a lot of county departments that will probably eventually migrate out to that facility, which many counties have created a government center.
Like a judicial complex.
Yes.
Of course, yeah.
And assuming we follow that road, it's going to be very important that we build appropriately. It doesn't have to be the Taj Mahal, but it should be to meet our needs for the next 40 or 50
Could we
years.
please have some attractive public buildings, though?
But
We are definitely function over form.
At the yeah, everybody's always like, oh, we can't afford that, so they build a box, you know.
Transformational times are coming. I
Yes.
agree with you.
Transformational time.
so
True.
I'm hopeful as that progresses, nobody would be better at leading some kind of a task force on that. I'm creating a job description for you.
Oh boy,
Who am I going to work with?
just think
Commissioners kind of thing.
you might get your name on the new jail. You know, when they put that plaque up there. I really think that Jamie Duffy should be on there too, because I have written about that jail more than anybody, and I'm actually fought off help not handcuffs. Told them they were crazy. We need a new jail, but mine was more on the humanity side of it. So anyway, we are so happy that we've been able to have. I brought it up with her a long time ago that I wanted to have somebody, Kim Churchward, about community corrections. It's a huge operation in this county, and it's very important really across the state, across the nation, that it's an alternative to putting people in cells, you know, and so it is worthwhile and we need to discuss it. But anyway, right now, I want to encourage everybody to sign up for the Probable Cause, www.theprobablecause.com. We also have a Facebook page. This is going to appear on it, of course. It's called The Probable Cause. You can listen to the podcast on Apple or Spotify too. We are a full-service podcast. And with that, we will say goodbye. This episode is filmed and edited by Frosty Pictures. The Probable Cause is produced by Maumee Media.
Worried when I crossed the Michigan line, a cop from Steuben County waiting on I-69. A headlamp went out while he pulled me over. Charged me with possession after I rolled down the window.
Now that's skunk.
Indians a trick when it comes to weed. It's like who doesn't smoke or use gummies? Your grandpa, your brother, your rich friend from school? Hell, throw in the whole courthouse and my attorney too. It's time those assholes change these stupid laws. It ain't worth the paper for a probable cause. Sitting on a bar stool in my usual place, this guy next to me said he was looking for some cocaine. Hell, I just sold him an 8-ball with a little piece off for me. But my buyer was a cop? Should have known he was a creep. So I'm a dealer, right? You gotta be kidding. It's a rich man's drug. I just take it because I'm injured. 8 years in Westville with a monkey on my back. There's more drugs in here than you can shake a shank at. One dirty drug test, man, this system's flawed. Undercover screwed me in my probable cause. Street crimes never did me no favors. I'm hooked on Fetty. I'm a junkie, not a felon. Told that son of a bitch on the way to lockup. I can't seem to shake it. I need help, not mocking. What do you want from someone who's been through the system? Drugs all through the house before mom and dad went to prison. Throw me in jail and give me a fine? Someday I'll be dead and away from your kind. Now I'm at the courthouse in front of a judge. Can't say my public defender cares for me much. Crimes are committed on both sides of the law. God help me now with this probable cause. C shift never gets old. Anything can happen when you're out on patrol. You think I'm just eating donuts, man? Give me a break. Nothing on this job is a piece of cake. Lights and sirens activated. This knucklehead wants to chase. Baby mama at the scene just spit in my face. Wife's worried that someday I won't be pulling up at all. You'll read about my killer in a probable cause. Man. She went through my phone and she seen my text. I told her forget it. It was just my ex. She took a swing and knocked me flat. Man, I went wild and hit her back. Judge slapped me with a no contact order. Now she's got the kids and she's staying with her mother. So she started it all and I have to take the fall. You can read my whole story in the probable cause. When I was young, caught a case for dealing and did my time. Yeah, I got a record, but I was doing fine. Running my own business on the southeast side. Yeah, I got a gun. I kept it on hand. Told the cop my reason, thought he'd understand. In this neighborhood, you need some protection. Attorney thought I could get just community corrections, but the judge decided to send me to prison. Can't get ahead no matter how hard I try. Read the probable cause, it'll make you
Whispers
cry.
and rumors that don't get reported. Stories I write that are often distorted. Got my notebook and pen, and I'm ready to listen. Tell me the truth, I'll consider your position. I've seen killers with eyes so cold and dead, and others go to prison because of what someone said, rotting away for the rest of their lives, leaving a hole here on the outside. Things are sad here on earth, and it's no wonder why, when you consider the sociopaths who remain in charge. It's me who sees the system for all its flaws, and I usually start with the probable cause. My right hand is reading the probable cause.